everybody. This is a Day to Be Me podcast number 4 with Alexander Hodge and
Sarah
Yeah.
Goff.
Devin Gellinger.
and today we'll be discussing the clash between the disability and the personality. This is from a segment from Callie's blog on our website. So Callie, you want to take it away and promote your website?
Our website is www.adaytobeme.com. You can find different things like our visual podcast, our audio podcast, the blog. You can buy my book on that site, so we'll definitely include it in the link.
Yes, we will.
So today's topic, the clash between the personality and the disability. Some people are able to have this, where they have an adversity or some kind of disability that's people need to find a workaround or stopping them from something. And the clash, the personality. If anybody's ever heard of it, you can take a test called the Big Five personality test, and it can visually show you what breaks down of 5 different segments of your personality. Your conscientiousness, which is your activity, your industriousness and orderliness. You got your openness, which is your openness to creativity and new ideas. Are you a new idea guy, or are you more set in your ways? You got your extroversion. Are you sociable, or are you more? Do you like to be alone, or do you like to be alone? You got your neuroticism, your sensitivity to change, or your tolerance to negative emotion. And then the 5th one, oh man, let me look over my notes what the 5th one was.
Okay.
What haven't I mentioned? The 5th one, Big 5 test. I'm just looking over my notes here.
All right.
Openness, agreeableness. So are you agreeable or disagreeable? So yeah, so that's a test that you can actually see where you're at and where your personality is. And sometimes
Traits are.
either it be both a physical or a mental disability. There's a clash that happens between the personality and the disability, where I've had it personally, where I realize my insufficiencies. And I never use my disability as an excuse, because sometimes that can finish somebody. I've never used it as an excuse. So the clash between my personality and disability. I'm a conscientious guy. I took the Big 5 test. I'm high in conscientiousness. I like to get things done. I love the feeling of having finished something that needed to be done, and then I can go have fun. Again, that ties into our previous podcast, the relationship between discipline and freedom. So I think of people who have recently lost their legs or lost a function of some kind, either it be physically or mentally. And if they're high in conscientiousness, well, I mean, having lost mobility in their legs can be a real problem. And that's a clash that happens between the personality and the disability right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and hope, and my hope is that this podcast will provide a blueprint as to how to best optimize ourselves with the disabilities and abilities that we have. Working and performance-based training can be using the best that we have, the best we can with what we have
available.
Right. And if we don't have something anymore, well, we need to find a way to best optimize ourselves, the best version and best decisions with those losses and gains. That way we can gain something else out of it.
Yeah.
So, Callie, what about you? What was your clash?
Okay, so my clash, definitely, As we have gone over in the first podcast we did, introductions, everyone knows that I have autism, high functioning Asperger's. I have a bunch of mental disorders like OCD, anxiety, depression, paranoia, a bunch of different stuff. My clash was I got to the point of thinking where I don't want to be labeled as this anymore. I don't want to go through what is causing me to have these disabilities. I don't want to go through that anymore. So what I did is I learned what parts of the disability that I was doing, that I was stemming from, that I was just habits that I had, whether that be rocking back and forth or something like that, just something small. Worked on those things, and I kept learning how to stop those actions. And now I'm to the point where I can have full conversations without any stemming, without any outbursts, without any difficulties.
Yep. One of the things that the human brain is really good at is recognizing where we fit on the growth scale relative to our environment.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that initiates that clash. What stupid things are we doing relative to what is going on outside of us that we could stop doing?
Yeah.
And then what could we fill as either it be a skill set or something in that place? And it takes time, and it takes a level of maturation and gathering of wisdom and intelligence, and it takes time. And that's the element where we need to be patient with ourselves and
never rush.
So Kevin, how about you?
I have Asperger's along with cerebral palsy, and those sometimes tend to clash too. I do know that. I have to fight internally inside my brain while I'm alone sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're fighting two different people inside your brain and trying to stop it from not trying to take over. It's like it's very challenging when you're fighting that. Absolutely. Because I've had so many challenges that like I have to be in like a constant routine of something, and it's hard to keep that routine because it's so challenging. I've done all kinds of things that are hard, so I try to find something else to do. It's not fun to
like trying to redirect where your mind is going and stuff like that.
Yeah, my mind is in too many different directions, and I have to sometimes tell myself I need to be patient, breathe, and relax.
Exactly. I deal with that as well.
Yeah.
I found that doing that's right on. And one things that I found is doing the one thing at a time. There's a behavior
I'm starting to learn too, and it's really starting to help me, man.
It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Having done this having heard that, you reminded me of one of the changes that I've made. When I have breakfast in the morning, I used to have it at my desk with my phone on, and I'm multitasking while I'm making breakfast and having it. One of the things that I've learned to change at that, and this is a clash that I had, and due to a clash that I had, and things that I've heard about doing one thing at a time is actually far more productive than doing two. Is with that I'll actually eat my breakfast in the dining room with nothing on. So and
Chris just joined.
Wow.
Well, there she is.
No.
Hey, Chris.
I am dead on the inside.
We are in the middle of a podcast, so continue.
And we're recording, so.
Right on. So, yeah. So right on, Kevin. So
yeah.
Time one of the things that we can help ourselves counter that clash and doing the right thing. And that's awesome. And you may find that working on one thing at a time, whole-mindedly, is much more productive and relaxing. Also, you get into the flow state easier. Staying in the flow state. One of the ways you can tell you're in the flow state, if you're engaged in something, one thing at a time, is that you don't realize how much time has passed you by versus when the day's a drag, when you're multitasking.
It's like with my dad. That's how my dad was. His mind's all over the place. He couldn't get one thing done. He'd move to another, and it was hard to keep up. He'd forget to do something else, and his mind would be somewhere else.
And even taking the blogging, the website, the podcast, and everything that comes into this, you have to take things one thing at a time. Otherwise, your brain's going to get very overwhelmed.
Our consciousness is the thing that gets overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So we cannot perform two tasks simultaneously on a conscious level. However, when something becomes a habit where you don't have to pay conscious attention to what you do, that's why we're actually able to walk and eat at the same time, because the skill set of walking was actually wired into us at this point in the subconscious. So on a conscious level, we'll get overwhelmed if we try to do two things or more consciously at the same time.
Yeah, and I got overwhelmed.
And this is a struggle that people have, especially when they're driving. It is your job to drive. That's one thing that you got to do one thing at a time, is when you're driving. I'm guilty of it too. I'll multitask while I'm driving on occasion. But one of the things,
I know that.
By doing this habit where I eat breakfast in the dining room, focused on having my breakfast without my phone or anything else going on. Even my dishes aren't even going, so I'm having that. Then I'm actually able to switch when I'm done eating, switch to what I got to do next. And I found what I have found is that I enter the flow state a lot easier. I don't realize how much time has passed while I'm doing it, and a lot more is getting done.
Whoa!
And I'm also more relaxed.
It is.
So we got the Big Five personality test that I mentioned before, and the Clash disability. I want to bring up Stephen Hawking. This idea with Stephen Hawking, because he has a disability. However, the clash that he's had with his personality and his disability, he has mastered his craft at who he is. Take a guy like Stephen Hawking. He's who he is, and genius level theorist, mathematician. Even though he can't walk, and speak, he's had the clashes to deal with and optimize himself to master his craft and as to who he is. So that's
and it's made him a stronger person.
Yep. So, and when I had my psychosis in senior year of high school, I had some clashes that happened shortly after that. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I finally made the decision. It wasn't up to my mom and dad anymore. I wanted to make this decision to ditch school and start job searching. I wanted to work. I wanted to get something, earn and learn that way. And having had that clash, I don't remember because of the disability and the mental problems and memory loss that I've had. I can't play video games as well as I used to, and I can't I don't remember how. I don't remember how I used to design. I used to design airplanes on my computer, and I still have a YouTube video up of my X-wing.
I know what those are.
I could not tell you how I did it. That was a clash I had to have with my disability. I don't remember how I did it, and I don't know if I could do it again. Give me the software to draw this airplane up again, and I couldn't tell you how to do it. That's one of the things that I had to contend with, and fill that void of memory loss with other skill sets to optimize my life as to where I'm at now. So that's why I'm running on the beach and stuff. I've been focusing more on my physical health at the expense of when I had the mental hospitalization for the mental injury.
Yeah. Can I put something in?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think, and no offense, to any of you guys, I think that memory loss is nothing but an excuse, because hear me out. you'll see movies all the time, but some of them are based off of true stories where they have like either cancer related or tragedy related trauma in the brain
Mm.
where they will get like early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
Dementia, the part of your brain that loses all functionality in the memory section.
Okay.
And people can recover from that with simple tactics, or it could take years on end to, you know, accomplish. But in either sense, that is very, very likely that they'll actually get back in the saddle. I
Okay.
personally had a grandfather who, he was a really very intuitive man. He would take connect blocks, like during a stage of dementia. Even he would take connect blocks and build tremendous upon tremendous things. And yes, he may have passed away from his disability, but it doesn't even really matter what that disability was. He lived a full life.
My
And
dad had dementia and
I,
Alzheimer's.
that's right on, man. And I like how you mentioned that using the memory loss as an excuse. Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Because you're right. I mean, I could reteach myself how to play these games and how to design these airplanes again. You're right.
But
It's my father told me the same thing.
it's a matter of
Um,
determination.
and it might. It's the discipline. It's the determination and the discipline. You're right, Christopher. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I've been thinking about a lot about that lately, about how my person disability clashes with the outside world and the personalities that come with it.
Mm.
And honestly, I really don't see a difference. Like, I have autism. I have IED, intermittent explosive disorder, and we look at the world today as, oh, it's all about me, 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 when we should really be focusing, because like literally I just got back from the zoo, and me and my mom were talking. What if we were the ones who were to work here? You know, what if we were the ones who would have to deal with it? It would suck, right? And I told her no, no, because of the opportunities that have presented us, to work with these animals. And that's where I think that we need to rethink on some of these topics, because I personally like I said, I have IAD, I have autism, and all these other anger inducing things, bipolar, IED, so on and so forth. And you can look at the same exact people outside in the world today and see the same person as me, because you know how? Because that's all the media puts out there is, anger, 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 this, that, and the other. The person that shot up this school had a disability, or the person that stabbed this person had a disability.
Right.
They didn't have a disability. They were just full on crazy. And I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't say crazy as strong as a term.
Right. Well, but there were circumstances and decisions that were made that led them up to that point, that lowest point and decisions that were made to lead them down that path to the point where they would be resentful enough and have that mindset to go shoot up a school. So I wouldn't exactly it's crazy. It's the wrong path to go down. And the other thing too is that, why not have the antidote to that, where we could be the best versions of ourselves and not go down that path, not use our the disabilities as the excuse, but also optimize what disabilities and personalities that we have, and then optimize that with our abilities and to create the best versions of what we can be. A lot of these quote unquote that are portrayed as crazy people who shoot up schools. The reason being is, and I'm not going to justify or rationalize it too much, or even justify what they've done. But what led them to that point was resentment, jealousy,
Was
and
the result of other people's actions.
These were kind of. So
in their environment.
There was the environment. It was a storm. So, and there were decisions that were made that were based on neuroticism and negative emotion. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They weren't based on logical. Get them aim up. These guys were aiming down. We want to aim up. At least aim across and up. You know. Yeah, so what led up to these people portrayed as crazy. I like how you point out the portrayal, because the portrayal on social media, we don't know what they've been through to get to that point.
We don't
They
know
can
what's
go
on their profiles
we don't know. But I think it's important to really look into ourselves and understand our capacity for our shadows, so that we can become the best versions of ourselves and not go down that path. I think it's important to integrate the two. I've been watching. I've been actually reading a little bit about this too, about the storyline behind Batman versus Superman.
Ooh.
And the idea. There's a question in that movie about how the ideal, the God, the ideal of good, hold on, guys.
Hold on, Kevin.
The ideal of the good. So God cannot be all good and all powerful at the same time. If he's all powerful, then he can't be all good. There's got to be some integration of the capacity to do harm. And I think what needs to happen is that the integration of the capacity for harm for the good. So being able to be a monster for the good. We want to be a good monster. You know, we want to be the one that can stand up to pressure in the right way and stand up for what's right and good, but also have the capacity to be powerful, to be bad, to have that capacity for harm, integrated into the personality, the Clash, integrated into the personality, so that we can actually have some weapons to stand up for what's good
within reason.
Within reason, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Within reason relative to the environment. Exactly.
Right. I'm sorry, Kevin. What were you gonna say?
Injustice Gods Among Us, where Joker killed, Injustice Gods Among Us, the video game, Superman killed the Joker and goes down a dark path.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a good point there. So there's this game that most people don't really know about until Injustice 2, but there was a game before that that wasn't highly sought after. That wasn't as popular, but for good reason.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Okay, so it's about obviously Batman and Superman clashing or whatever, but it's alternate versions of those two heroes.
Yeah.
Or from two different universes. So there's two Superman, two Batman. And here's the thing. If I may, and I really don't want to interrupt the stream here.
Mm-hmm.
I can pull up a video where, because it's his actions were sound,
right,
but he should have handled it a little bit better.
A little bit more different.
Well, Bud, go ahead and share that on the group chat when you get the chance. Share the link on that when you get the chance. All right.
All right, but yeah, so he basically, in the story Injustice Gods Among Us, that Joker drugs Superman to make Superman think that Lois Lane is Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, it projects them as Lois Lane as Doomsday, and then Doomsday comes in and is like, why are you doing this? I don't understand. And turns out, now mind you, prior to this, Lois Lane was pregnant.
So hey, Bud, remember, how does this tie into the clash between a personality and disability and how to optimize our skill sets? The reason I brought up Batman v Superman, it was the question of God being all powerful or all good, and the integration of the bad and the evil to counter that and make it whole. That's the idea, was to make it a whole person, a whole personality, a whole being. So that's what I was getting at. So I don't want to get too off track here of
No.
that
discussion.
discussion.
Look,
I know.
the point
So
is,
let's go ahead and bring it. So go ahead.
and okay, so let me get to that. Drugs also play a big factor, like prescription drugs, medicines, and other stuff like that. But more importantly, that's an excuse as well. I mean, I've been on pretty much most of the pills for my entire life. I've been on Abilify,
Right.
Lexapro, so on and so forth. Antipsychotics, lithium.
And those could be used as a tool to help optimize your mind as well. But when they become an excuse to chemically babysit you, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it can, because your body changes as you get older.
That are not even having the knowledge to decipher, hey, which is bad, which is good. Because there are some people out there that really don't even do that or know how to take care of their.
That's a good thing that you brought that up. You could share, what was that genetic that test that you can take to help people so they know what medicines are optimized for their body? What was that thing? If you could share that in this, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I was thinking more towards, optimizing. I'm sorry. Repeat that again, Alex. I'm sorry.
For using the like optimizing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is aiming up and optimizing our disabilities and abilities and taking realistic stock of what they are and where we're at and what tools we can do to learn to aim up in our growth scale.
And that's the thing. Some people might not have that knowledge, Some people might actually,
that is the goal of this podcast, is to reach out to those people and give them the blueprint for that.
Right.
At least there's something that we can do to provide that. That's what we're doing.
And as a jury, we're not at all means a criminal courtroom. We are not here to decipher which is bad, which is good. We're not here to say, we're not here to cast judgment. We're here, like Alex just said, to lay out the map so you guys can figure this out yourself. So I propose for our next live stream, for our next podcast, that we take care of this medicine problem.
Okay. We'll let Callie. We can all decide that as a group as how we could tie that into a podcast sometime. Yeah, we could probably work on that.
Yeah.
How medications and that test that you mentioned to me some time ago about takes what our bodies and what medicines might work best to optimize that. You share that too. So Callie, can you still hear? Can you go and say something?
We need to get back on track.
Yeah. So Chris.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds good. So we'll get into that when we can.
Yep, we will. Just
all right. So now the next part, discussing future podcasts. Callie, what was the next podcast you wanted to work on next Sunday?
The next podcast that I want to work on is dealing with what was it called? I wrote a blog post about different hierarchies and social status and social environment.
Was it the social ecosystems?
Yes, I forgot the word.
That was it.
Yeah, that's what.
That's what we're gonna be doing next Sunday, and we have another podcast coming up tomorrow. I don't remember what we're gonna be talking about, so that is on me. We'll definitely update you guys in the description for what's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. And all right. So Callie, want to take care of the outro? And this was awesome. And also I wanted to thank you, Callie, for doing this. Thank you for doing this. This has been an awesome journey.
Yes, it has.
And we're going to continue to do this work. for those people who need to hear it most and who wish to check out our channel and go and check out Callie's website and her book.
check out her books.
www.adaytobeme.com.
Also, mention the audio. How many platforms have we got the audio on now?
Oh, we've got everything. All the podcasting platforms, including like iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Alexa, a bunch of different stuff. The only two we are looking towards getting on now is Apple Podcasts and Pandora. Those are the two we're waiting.
Pandora, and those are the ones we have left.
Okay, well, this is a day podcast. Thank you for joining our video and our podcast, and have a great day.
Be a
Bye.
for the future.